Greetings, horror fans. This is Midnight Researcher. Today, we are investigating the survival horror game Penumbra Overture in the form of a guided walkthrough. As usual, I'll be going through the entire game from start to finish, exploring the ways to progress in the game, explaining the ways to progress in the game, rather, showcasing gameplay and physics features, and detailing trivia, glitches, and little-known facts about the game itself. Now that we're done with that usual scripted part. This is Penumbra Overture, the very first commercially released title by Frictional Games. I have played this far too many times to count, a little bit less than, I would say, Amnesia: The Dark Descent, or even some of the other games by Frictional Games, but I still know this pretty much like the back of my hand, so I don't expect too much difficulty. As usual, aside from that little intro that I literally have written up on my phone right here, there's going to be no script to this. I'm going to go through the game and see how well I do for not knowing what exactly I'm going to encounter as far as any difficulties here. This is the second video that I'm doing in these guided walkthroughs. The first one I did was the Penumbra tech demo. And, aside from that, let's get into it. And I'm not going to be going over any of the, notes, the lore, or anything like that. This is strictly about gameplay. I will be putting up the notes on screen, but I'm not going to be, reading them. So, enough of my, fluff. Let's get into this with the new game. And we're going to be doing normal, just to get the most balanced experience. Yeah, as it says right there, the most balanced mode to play in. Now, interestingly, about this, just to get right off the bat with a little fact about this, is, this menu music is only scripted to play once. So if you load up the game, it'll play, but if you beat the game, the menu music does not show up again, and the email itself plays before the title. So the email that you see at the beginning of the game plays before the title. So that's why I opted to leave it in there with the game startup. But yeah, again, enough of this fluff. I'm not the best commentator, so let's get going. Penumbra Overture in normal mode, guided walkthrough. Let's go. And I will be letting the intro play, but that's it.
For my part in this allegory, I'm not going to make the same mistakes my father made. Howard vanished from my mother's life before I was even in it, so when he sent me a letter a few days after Mum's funeral, it was the first I'd ever heard from him. Pity he was dead. Writing from beyond the grave must be a genetic habit in my bloodline. His letter contained a key, instructions, pleas for forgiveness. I figured the dead don't have much use for absolution, so I turned to his prophetic passing, which he inexplicably expected to come any day. Clearly averse to explanations, my father preferred to leave directions to a bank on Mayfair I'd never even heard of. In that bank was a safety deposit box in his name, and myself as executor. Of course, I went, as he knew I would. I discovered that despite the evidence, he'd been legally declared dead almost 30 years ago, and so the old book and collection of notes I found had, in the eyes of the law, been mine all this time. My father's instructions were to burn the documents, raise no further questions. But that was his error. No man's immune to the shameful trappings of curiosity, and my humanity got the better of me. The university I taught at was world-renowned for two things: physics and linguistics. I represented the first, and the man who stood for the second was stumped by my recent acquisition. The book was indecipherable. The notes, however, showed a location somewhere in uninhabited northern Greenland. It took me almost a year to book the last flight I'd ever taken. As I watched civilization disappear along with Heathrow, I realised my father had disappeared 3 decades ago, almost to the day. And I considered in turn what it was that I was leaving behind. We landed on a strip of ice a few feet wide, and within minutes I was pulling away on a chartered boat, beginning the 12-hour journey that would lead me into my past.
And here we are. Okay, so to start off with this, I'm going to try and do two things. I'm going to try not to exactly read everything out, I'm going to try and paraphrase, and and the second thing is I'm not going to be too concerned with what I say, because this is a much longer experience than the tech demo was, so I'm not going to just try and restart the whole thing if I screw up on a couple words here and there, just because I'm not the best commentator. But as far as this goes, this is the tutorial section. Basically, we can pick things up using left mouse and take a closer look at things using right mouse. I'm not going to be interacting with these things too much, just because it's a lot of flavor text, but it does lengthen the game considerably. So basically, you can move around using WASD and pick up things using left mouse as usual. This was pretty revolutionary back in the day. This quote-unquote dynamic lighting system. Well, I guess it was for the time. You could do things like this and see the light move, and that was pretty revolutionary back in 2007. Yeah, see, you can right-click on things. Now, as far as the difference between this and one of my regular playthroughs, I have the controls rebound to their default buttons, so you can crouch by using control, and I think it'll get into some other stuff here, but yeah, I'm going to pick this up. The notebook can be accessed by N, and reminders are P, like personal notes. And he's saying we can open that drawer next to the bed using left mouse and hold the button down moving the mouse. Yep, hold interact button and drag it this way. Now before we pick that up, it's not really story related, but I think it's interesting that these two things are pointed out in Penumbra Black Plague, and Philip is even seen wearing this jacket in some of the concept art that's apparently canon, but he never actually picks it up here, so I guess he just brought two jackets, or you know, it's like canon that he actually brings it, but I don't know, it's just something funny I thought. Now what you can do over here is look out these windows, get some information, and you can wait as long as you like, but there is no way to actually exit through this door until you get all the items that are in this room. So, also, yeah, if you want to read anything, just pause the video whenever you see a text blurb or note that you wanted to see, because I'm not going to be reading anything in detail, just because I want to focus on the gameplay. Yeah, if I read here. This is gameplay oriented, so yeah, let's pick up the flashlight right here. Yep, switches on and off via inventory or the shortcut key F. That's going to take some getting used to. For me, anyway. Inventory is pretty self-explanatory. Now, what I like is that there are some favorite slots up here. You can put things in, and you can activate them or bring them up in a certain way. Like if I put this key in, let's say 6, and then I hit 6 on my keyboard, it'll bring it up. And if an object is too far away or it can't be used on it, the object on the screen will turn red. So there's that. If we want to unlock this locker, we just bring up the key. And just for the example, I again brought it up using 6 on the keyboard. Use it, and the locker's unlocked. And we have a padlock that is not actually used anywhere else in the game as far as I can tell. So, let's see what's in the locker. Flashlight can be pulled out by using F. Let's grab these. Battery. And every time you pick up a battery, it instantly recharges some of your battery power for your flashlight. And what is this? A glow stick. And the thing about the glow stick is that it acts somewhat similar to the lantern from Amnesia. Okay. The shortcut key G, it's pretty dim, but it has no limit to how it can be used, how long it can be used, I should say. And, oh, here we go. This is completely extra, but I mean, this can technically be used as a tutorial for how notes work. So if you just pick this up, summary, this is just lore. I'm not going to read it, but this is a fisherman's wife talking about, yeah, I really care about you, and I left you something. And that's it. That's pretty much everything. You can change pages by clicking the corners here. You can back out either by hitting tab or escape. Doesn't matter which. And we have everything we need, so let's get out of here. And you can read that if you want, but I'm going to keep going. Welcome to Greenland. And we need shelter pretty soon because there's, oh. Really? Oh, I didn't actually know that the flashlight was disabled here. But the glow stick is not. That's interesting. You can still crouch, you can do everything else. Now, there's not much to this place. You just gotta keep going forward. There's some terrain past the boundaries here, but you can't really get up onto anywhere. It just kind of pushes you down because there's, like, borders up here. Yeah, and if you try, it just kind of glitches out. And yeah. Here's what we're looking for. What in hell is that? It looks to be a hatch. Gotta break the ice somehow, so if we go all the way back here. You can pick up this rock by using left mouse, and you can throw it using right mouse. And we can also go into another mode, which is called interact mode, where if you hit R on the keyboard, you can move it around independently of where the camera moves. If you bring it off to the left or right, up or down, the camera will move eventually with your vision on the object you're holding. But I don't really use interact mode. I never really have. Yeah, and it's yelling at us to use interact mode. But what I usually do for this, because this hatch can be a little bit glitchy in the worst case scenarios, is I just throw it. So, there we go. Bring that aside, and I'm not sure if there's anything else of interest here. I cannot jump over this. But let's rotate this so it clicks open, and then drag it upwards to open the hatch, and go down, because we're going to freeze to death otherwise. Where are we? I totally haven't been to this, you know, map at least like 50 times by this point. The flashlight is now enabled again. We can look up and we can see the ladder is gone, so we do not know what awaits us in here. Ammo boxes. This is the way forward. Let's see if this door will open. It's stuck. There must be something in the way. I jotted down a note, just in case. And you'll see that alert a lot. So I think it's... yeah, P to bring up your notes. I'm in some kind of underground installation, but the only door out of the room I'm in is locked. Need to find some way around. Now, what's funny about this is that this door is not actually locked. You can pretty easily get around it by opening it. Oh, okay. I need to get used to those controls. That is not crouch. Control is crouch. So if you do something here, there's something in the way of the door, and you can really easily move it out of the way through this crack. It's an exploit, but I'm not going to be doing that, so there's that, but we'll leave that for a couple minutes later. If we look around here, we see we see a box. We can bring the top off the box and put it over there or wherever, and we can see that this is something you can pick up. It's a flare. Could be a handy light source. Now, I don't usually use the flares, because they have about as much functionality as the glow stick does, but the only difference is that if you bring out a flare... Yeah, see, it's just red light instead of green. But if you drop a flare while it's still active by bringing up your glow stick or your flashlight, it actually still stays lit. So what you can do is pick it up, move it around, like if I wanted to place it like here, and then just move away, I have a little temporary static light source. Unless it moves on its own. And then it glitches out through the floor. That's incredible. Well, that just goes to show you, this is a really rough around the edges game. Barrels, not really... And there's another one, right there. So what we actually need to do is go through this door here, because this door is not obstructed. All this is just, you know, flavor text again if you examine it, but what you really want to do is over to the right of the door, there are these two shelves, wooden shelf, and a metal shelf. But if you look in between, you see some boards that are covering up a hole. You can move this metal shelf pretty easily and examine them. The wood looks pretty soft, but whatever we do, we can't pull them off with our bare hands. And can't exactly throw anything at him either, because there's not too much that's heavy around here that we can throw. Not even these. So if we look around, we don't see too much. We do see this, and I guess I can pick this up now. This is a metal rod. Now you'd think that you could be able to just swing this metal rod onto these, but no, that's not what you do. What you do over here is go over here, pick up this flare, examine these, and this is what you need. This hammer. There's a little tutorial here is using the weapons. You can swing it if you hold left mouse. You can swing it whichever way you swing the mouse. And you can stab as well. Now what I usually like to do, and what I will do here, is drag this up to 1, just because I like to be able to pull it out in an instant with 1. And as it was explaining, you can just swing by pressing and then swinging the mouse. You can stab. You can also look around, but you can't look around while swinging. But enough of that. Break the boards, and continue. That's nothing. It doesn't actually do anything. And this tunnel is pretty short. All you gotta do is just climb up here. 2 ways you can do that, and it just comes out into this little space here. And this is the rest of the rooms that we couldn't access with this. If you look down there, there's not actually anything down there, but something banged up against it. No wonder I couldn't open the door. Yeah, that's true. Now what you can do is move it out of the way and then open the door. But if I put it right there again, I guess I can show it off now that I can. Come on, get up in there. Get in there. Get in there. I know you can do it. What's also interesting about this place is in certain installations of the game, once you go into there, the game will just crash, and that happened to me on a live stream not too long ago. So if we go back this way and just... Oh, okay. Well, the script changed, so I'm not going to waste too much time on this. I just think it's funny. Let me see if I can replicate it enough. So if I bring this all the way up here, and crawl back through here, we cannot open the door. It is pretty, stuck. That's the word I'm looking for. Jeez. But if you go through this crack in the door, you can just very easily move it from the other side. So that's what you could do if you really want to, like, speed run. But we don't want to do that. So what we're going to do is quit messing around, and this is what we need to pay attention to. This little thing with a little hole in it. And conveniently, we have something that fits into that hole. A steel rod. If we drag it over here, put it through the hole, and then we move it this way. The hatch is open. And I don't believe there's anything else left of interest here. Emergency exit procedures, that, and whatever else is down there. Let's go. There's no other way to go. And we're trapped. So we gotta keep going forward. Here it yells at us that, hey, you're not alone down here, and you better hide. Even though, in this game, especially in Overture, you don't actually need to hide too much from the enemies. They're pretty easy to deal with, at least most of them. Yep, It's telling us about stealth mode. You can crouch, and if you extinguish all light sources, it'll put you into a special mode where you can see in the dark pretty effectively, and whatever is out there will have less of a chance of spotting you. But I don't really find that to be too useful, just because all the quote-unquote enemies are pretty easy to deal with. Yeah, it's still just yelling at us right now. So I guess I could demonstrate that. So if you extinguish a light source and then crouch. Yep. You can look around. Looking at an enemy will panic you, and if you look at it for too long, you'll shoot up like that, but with a little bit more insanity effects, or whatever you call them. They're not called insanity effects here. There is no sanity in this game, but yeah. So it looks like we're in somewhere that has a lot of places in it. Yeah, that's a great description. Again, is it any wonder why I don't usually do these commentaries? But what we need to do at first is go to the office. At least that's what I prefer to do. You can go to the storage too, and you can go up here as well, but I just like to go in order of importance, and the office. Also, I believe that is Comic Sans that they use on the signs. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what that is. It's at least in some font that is not typical of the time period that this is meant to be depicting when this mine was in use. If you know anything about the story, you know what I mean. Like 1940s, World War II. I believe it's this way. Yeah, office is right here. Now, before we go in there, these are a little detailed too. These lamps, once you get a lighter, and you do get a lighter pretty soon, you can light these up and even pick some of them up and take them with you as portable light sources. But there's not too many of these around here, so I don't know how useful anybody else might find that. But I just thought that it was a nice attention to detail that they did that. So let's go to the office. Office. So there are some items of use in here. I do like the atmosphere in here just because there's no music, and you have a, you know, at the time, more quote-unquote, well, no, it's not quote-unquote, at the time, more revolutionary lighting, and a little bit of particle effects there, as you can see. Yeah. You can examine a lot of stuff here. Like that. Like that. You can, if I can get used to these controls, open these up. I don't think there's anything actually in here. So what you need is, what is of interest in here is this desk, this log, this, and this. This, you can examine World War II. Interesting. Now, I'm not going to read this again, but basically, to sum it up, this is an officer's log, Nothing too remarkable. Some guys blew themselves up like idiots with some cherry bombs. Yeah, if you want to pause it to read it, you can. Just flavor text right here. And they note about this artifact right here on screen. I'm assuming it's this one. So they say, oh, this is weird. We found this artifact in this old mine that we're using as a war bunker. Officer's log. So this is useful for making an explosive fuse. We're going to get that. It's called Baxtrin. And a good, funny thing to note is that Baxtrin is not a real thing. I think the real thing is called Dextrin, but they had to change it because the publisher at the time did not want a real explosive recipe to be portrayed in a video game. So they changed Dextrin to Baxtrin. Yep. If we open this... Oh yeah, and that note also mentioned that there's a key to an explosives book. There's this note here, and it is a newspaper article. Again, I'm not going to read, but it's talking about high self-ending methods. Or, not methods, figures. High self-deletion methods. Methods, I'm saying that again. Figures. Figures in a very high-pitched tone of voice that I'm doing, because again, I'm awful with these commentaries. But basically, it's saying that there's a lot of strange happenings in Greenland, and they, this is flavor text, but this is what's important to the lore. It mentions the Turngate, or Turngat, however the heck you pronounce it. This is really old, 1930, and it's talking about the Death Mine, which is, whoop-de-doo, where we ended up being, is the Death Mine. So, yeah. There you have it. So this key we can pick up, and this key... Also, okay, let me finish one thought before I go into another, like the ADD-ridden person that I am. So this key goes to a container. This container is all the way over here. Pick up a flare on the nearby shelf. Pick up some really old painkillers that still have, like, modern labels and stuff on it. Very funny. Okay, this is beef jerky. Probably really old, too. I'm a big fan of beef jerky, but I cannot eat it. So, what these are used for is distracting some of the enemies that we'll be seeing as we go deeper into the mines. But I've never really found a use for these. I mean, I'll show you how I usually deal with the enemies. It's pretty anticlimactic, but that's, again, just another little detail that I like that they put in there. Is you have multiple ways of dealing with enemies as they show up. I'm not sure if there's anything in here. More beef jerky, that's fine. Big old typewriter. Yeah. Now back to what I was saying before. This key we picked up goes to this chest, and if you drag it over and click it, there it is. And this is basically a impromptu tutorial for making the different kinds of explosives that you're going to make throughout the game. Big Book of Explosives, 1923 edition. So we're using something that's almost a century old to make things that'll help us in the modern day, at least when this is. It's like 2001. Again, I'll pause it. You can pause it if you want to read all this, but I'm not going to read it. I will refer to it. But, basically it's just telling you how to make different kinds of explosives. And I think 2 out of these we will actually use. Or 3, maybe. Yeah. Okay. I believe that's all we can actually get in this office. Except for batteries. Now, I'm not going to be, hounding myself to try and pick up every single interactable item. It's probably going to be the case that I'm going to miss, like, at least one of them. But I'm going to try and get most of them. Now, the last thing of interest is here. You can't pick this up, but what you can do is use this as a save point. These do have a lore significance, but we're not going to focus on that. We're just going to click it to save. And it makes your vision go white, and it kind of flashbangs you, and it brings you some lore text. You can pause it to read it, but I'm not going to read it. Let's go. We're back out here, and if we take a few steps, we have our first enemy encounter. If we hide, we can just get a good look at it. It is a doggo. A zombified doggo from the looks of it. Yep, it's yelling at us to use stealth mode, guys. It's really important. But no, it's really not that big a deal if he spots you, because I guess I can just explain it without actually having to do it this specific time. You can just take the hammer or the pickaxe, because you will get a pickaxe later, and just beat the ever-loving crap out of them, and they will die. But we're not going to do that here, just because I want to keep things going along at a somewhat steady pace. We're just going to, if we go over this way, moving from the office toward the center of the mine, we can see signs here: storage room and workshop. Oh, really? He's still here? That's interesting. Ah, okay. Well, no, it might have been a glitch, but another thing to note is that this definitely started Frictional Games. Well, no, I guess it didn't, but it reinforced Frictional Games, quote-unquote, trend of monsters having significant music. And every time a monster is present, you'll hear a specific music track. We heard the dog growling, but I don't think he was actually there. That's just a sound effect. So we're here in the middle of the mine, and we see this door that is not actually attached to anything, as you can see, but yeah, it's really funny. Like, look. This door should just swing open, but it does not. It is quote-unquote locked, however the hell you manage that. Like, really, just look right there. Also, if this was real life, I could definitely just climb over this, like, no problem, even if it was, like, attached right here. But we need a key, and we don't have a key, because the key we used earlier was just for that chest. And we don't even have that anymore. So what we need to do is go to storage, which is over here. Again, more of these little lamps that we can light once we have the lighter that's in storage. Am I going the right way? No, I'm not going the right way. So, yeah, well, again, it's up to the right of where you go into the mine from, which is right here. Run over here, we can see storage room is this way. Is there any other details around here? No, none that I can think of right now. Yeah, storage room. Again, more growls that are not actually from anything. Storage room, jeez. Okay, so give me like 1 minute. I need to split the recording. Since this is going to be like a multiple hour playthrough, I need to be right back momentarily, but it will not affect your viewing experience. And we resume back in the storage room. So, what you're going to immediately notice is that if you just walk a couple steps forward, there's someone there. Who could it be? We don't know. And we never really find out until Penumbra Black Plague, the second game of this series. If we try and jiggle the door, it's locked. But there seems to be somebody on the other side. I don't think we're going to be getting any answers from this guy. He is pretty crazy. But if you actually look through the door, as much as you can anyway, there's nobody actually there. It's just noises. Come on, I can get it. Come on. Yep. You can see just a little bit behind there. There is nobody actually there. But if you click on the door, you can trigger some audio.
Who's that?
Who is that?
Yeah, you can hear it. Now, what's interesting about this is that this is the quote-unquote voice of Thomas Grip. I believe it's Thomas Grip's voice. He's voicing the, quote-unquote voicing the Spider Hater's ramblings there, and he is known as the Spider Hater in Penumbra Overture anyway. So taking a look around, you can see more flavor text. Anemic red. That's very interesting name for a paint can. Wait, what? What was that? Oh, there we go. Ice white. Yep. Ice white, anemic red. And here we have the lighter, which is actually a pretty useful object for a lot of places in the game. If we pick it up, and we see if the lighter wasn't empty, it'd be a handy thing to have. Yeah, it's empty right now, but what we see here is lighter plus fuel equals fire and a happy face. The work of either a child or a deranged mind, or both. I don't even know how old this guy is. Hey, buddy. How old are you? Important question. Boots. Nothing here. Nothing here. Oh, typo. Lots, with an apostrophe. This door is locked. So, but if we go over here, we can pull this door open, and we see, first here, these more drawings. Box with circles in it, minus circles equals moved box and ladder. Pretty obvious. We can just take these rocks that are inside this little box here, move them, and yep, put them in a corner there or wherever you want, and move the box off of the trap door that was right here all along. Put it upward. But first, before we go there, there's another door here. I don't think there's much in this room except for painkillers, batteries, something that made me sneeze, and another artifact that we can save with. Nothing too significant about this place. I don't think, anyway. Oh yeah, it says there's a draft coming from the base, even after I brought it up out of the base. Someone has removed the ladder from these hooks with a blunt saw. However the heck that is possible. Oh, what's that? I saw something there. Oh, oh, oh. Can we examine something that we're not supposed to through the door? I think we can. Okay, we're gonna come back to that later, because that's, I wasn't supposed to look at that until after a certain thing happens. That's really funny, though. Okay, let's go down. Enough mucking around. Spooky whispers, spooky whispers. Anyway, we go through here, and we see this large tunnel that's something burrowed out. If we proceed just a little bit further, giant spider. But there's not actually any spiders here. That's just a scare for fear purposes. There are no spider enemies in these tunnels, so we can proceed unabated. Grab this ladder that's right here and bring it back so we can get out of here when we want to get out of here. But we're not done yet, so... And it just auto-snaps into place. Let's go back. Which way is it? Let's see. Is this the ladder way? Yes, this is where we got the ladder. So the left tunnel is where you get the ladder from. That's the exit. If we go to the right, I believe, we can see this guy. Mummified, but, yeah, that actually looks pretty horrifying. We go over here. Is this the ladder way again? Yes, I've gotten myself turned around. That's incredible. Now what we can do pretty easily here is dodge the steam. The steam won't actually kill you too quickly if you don't make it in time. Yeah, like there, I just fumbled a little bit, but I've got decades-old painkillers, so I'm somehow okay. Oh wait, have I done this out of order? Yes, I've done this out of order. Where's the first one? I know it's here somewhere. There it is. There he is. Got a flare, and we can see this is some sort of diary entry. Now this is all story text, so I'm again not going to read it, but basically what he's saying is he's writing to ensure he has a document of some kind of what's happened. 30 years ago something happened here, some people are here for some reason, and we don't get to see what exactly that is. He's speculating that he's going to have to go out and look for a rescue team after the third day. So he's having second thoughts about where he is. He's investigating some stuff. He finds a creature. It doesn't really go well. He injures himself, and he founds another part of the mine that he's now hiding in, whoever this is anyway, and he's not going to venture out until he's certain the area is safe. He's getting more hopeless, and he's starting to notice that there are large spiders around him, and he accidentally swallowed one. Nothing happened after he swallowed one, so he is starting to eat the spiders. Yeah, and now he's discovered that the spiders like the darkness, and he's going to eat more. Jesus Christ, how horrifying. Damn it again. Yeah, I get it. More of the guy, whoever it is, the spider hater, his findings. He is going a little crazy. He doesn't have a light source. He doesn't want to leave because he doesn't hear human voices, and he's really starting to enjoy eating those spiders. He's been here for 100 days, and the spiders have gotten more aggressive and bigger. And he hopes that he isn't devoured by the spiders. Here we have the first signs of giant spider eggshells, which we will see fully realized versions of later. Cave-in ambience that doesn't actually do anything. And we're here. We're where we need to be. Right, okay. So all we gotta do is hammer this lock off like so. Oh, a little bit of lag there. That's fine, though. Turn to our left, and we see this. This is one of the only significant things of interest in here. It's a lighter refill canister. We grab that really quickly, can just combine it in our inventory by dragging it over the lighter, and the lighter fires up. Now what I like to do is drag this over to 3, so you can pull the lighter out whenever you want, and use it on whatever you want, whenever you want. If we come over here, we can pull this valve to stop the steam. Open up this chest, grab the batteries, and that is literally all that we need in here. Let's get back to where we came from. We crawl back through here. Something is about to happen. Can you guess what it would be? I sure can't. I totally haven't played this like 50 times by this point. Oh dear. I wonder what could have happened. Let's go investigate. Oh my god! Blood! Basically, the only gameplay thing that has done is opened up these 2 doors for us. Like, this was previously locked, and so was this one, but now they're both open because of whatever happened here. And, this is what we examined earlier, even though we weren't meant to. Excuse me. So, yeah. You can't actually go through this hole, even though I think it would be interesting if you could see what's on the other end of it. But he was dragged through here. Beef jerky in the drawer. Nothing on the shelf. And last note by the spider hater is right here, as well as a key and a lantern. First use of the lighter can be right here. If we pull it out, you can see. You can extinguish it, but you can keep lighting it as many times as you want. If we pick this up, it's saying that this is 200 days since he's started writing. He has locked himself in a room. This room that we're currently in. And he has scribbled about having to conduct an operation on himself. This is 300 days ever since he has done it. And since day 200, at some point, he attempted to return from whence he came, but he has had little success because there was a cave-in, which we will see not too long from now. I'm kind of blanking on what to say. Is it any wonder, again, why I don't usually do these commentaries, but he has basically resigned himself to whatever fate has in store for him, which is to just sit in this room until he is devoured by whatever the hell came through here. So let's explore the rest of the room. Hey, look, it's his tongue. You can't actually do anything with that. It's just kind of there for detail. Grab the key. Explore the desk. Nothing here. Okay, so what we have is a key. And we can use this on the door that was quote-unquote locked somehow, even though it was not actually physically attached to anything. And we have the lighter, which we can use for a bunch of things around this mine. Like if I wanted to go here, I can do that. Now, I believe I'll demonstrate how I usually deal with the enemies, because there is going to be a scripted enemy encounter. The funny thing is, though, I think there's only meant to be one dog in this area of the mine at one point in time, but when I was recording footage for another video of mine, I somehow got two of them to appear, and I killed both of them. I don't believe I'd ever been able to do that before, and I was pretty shocked by it. Where am I going? I'm just talking to myself while running for no reason. That's silly. Hello, dog that isn't actually there. Where the heck am I going? Here it is. Is there a lamp? Yeah, there is. Okay, let's unlock the totally locked door by just using the key. Somehow the door opens now. Ridiculous. There's no way that it would be locked. Come on. Now what you can do is close the door and barricade it with something, but what'll end up happening is if I just take a few steps forward, yep, a dog will spawn, and you can go over wherever you want to go over anyway, but what I'm going to do is wait for the inevitable breakthrough. Because he does break through this door, whatever you do to it. Come on. There he goes. Maybe? There he goes. Yeah, and he destroys the barrel too. Bye! Bye! You could just beat him with the... Ow! What? That is a bug. Yeah, that's, that tends to be what can happen in this game. I'm not gonna, it's not that big a deal that I died. This is not like a, super badass playthrough or whatever. Let's see if we can do that again. But basically, that's sort of similar to what happened the last time I made 2 dogs appear. Is one of them just desynced to where he was, and he just attacked me from any end possible. Let's see if I can do that again. There we go. Let's see if I can get him before he does any damage to me. There he is. There he goes. And sometimes you can see the dog model continues to move even after it has died. You can't actually do anything to it, but I don't know. It's interesting at the very least. Is there another one gonna come up here again? No? Okay, no matter. So now we're in the explosive section of the mine, as we can see on this map right here. We're in the explosive section, and we have 2 options, which is the actual explosives section right over there. Really? Another one? Okay, we're doing this again. That's really, really interesting. Hey, buddy. Yeah, these dogs are not really a threat if you know how to deal with them. It's so weird. 2 dogs in the same area of the mine. I really am not sure if this is unintentional or intentional. I've usually never encountered one. Glad I got it on recording, though. That's pretty cool. Am I okay? Yeah, I'm fine. And I'll regenerate the health. Now, if there were 3 in here, that'd be even more interesting, I'd say. What was I doing? That's right. I was going towards the actual explosives section of the mine. Over here. Because if we look... Well, actually, no, I should explain why. If you see there, northern area. So we're in the middle right there. If we just go up, we can see the... cave in that he was talking about in that note, the spider hater. So what do we gotta do? I found a potential way out of here, but need to remove the rubble first. So what we can do is look... Pause if you want to read that. Here's a note. Not gonna read it, but it's basically just a really simple puzzle. 2, 1, 4, 8. Backwards. 8, 4, 1, 2. I wonder what that could be. Proceeding back here, we can go to the explosives part of the mine. And we find this. A conveniently placed barrel of still functional TNT. And it's pretty easy. All you gotta do is pick it up and drag it over to the explosives, or no, not the explosives, the cave-in area. And if I just bring it over... If I place it the right way, it'll auto-snap into place. But if we try and do this, we find that we cannot light it without a fuse, or at least we shouldn't, and Philip won't. So, excuse me. So we're going to go all the way over here to the workshop. Ah, look at this. A panel that we need to input a code by. I wonder what we could use to figure this out. 8, 4, 1, 2. 8, 4, 1, 2. Hooray! Now there are no enemies in this section either. It's pretty much just a lot of flavor text. A lot of flavor text in this area. But if we go over here, this unusual looking box, we can see that there is something in there that we picked up. What is that? Oh yeah, it's cotton string. So that's pretty easy. Just immediately to the left of where you come into the room, you see this box, you click on it, you get yourself some cotton string, flavor text, flare, save. This door over here leads to a corridor, and this entry over here leads to a little room. If you look over here, you see some rocks and a little bit of light. Mostly flavor text, but if we look beneath the rocks, we find ourselves a pickaxe. And what I usually like to do is put it in 2, so I have access to the larger, more effective weapon and tool, as opposed to the hammer. Flavor text. Flavor text. Let's keep going. Through this hallway. Autosave. Flavor text concerning the spiders, but there aren't actually any spiders in this place. Remove these boards with the pickaxe. We can see this area over here is an area that you can use some of your expertise in physics, or at least acquired expertise by playing this game for a bit. What you gotta do, actually, is if you go over here, past this other little corridor and all these spider webs, is you see this barricade, an electric fence, and it is very active. What we can do is one of 2 things. You can do it the normal way. Come on. Get out. Okay, well, maybe not those. What you do is you take one of these barrels, whichever one you want. You gotta get it over this little pile of sandbags right here. And to do that, come on, fall on your... There you go. What you gotta do is take this barrel, drag all the way over here. Put it on its side so that it can be rolled. And somehow, if I can do this correctly, roll it over. No. Roll it over so that it can be rolled over the sandbags by means of that plank. But, of course, it's not that easy. Because it never is with these physics engines. Let's try with, oh, come on. Let's try with 2 of them. Who knows if this is gonna work? I might have to do it the glitchy way. Really? There we go. That's better. Okay, come on. Come on. I can't do this. I've done this like a bajillion times, quote unquote. Oh, man. Alright. Get it oriented. I swear. You can do this. I can do this. There we go. There we go. Come on. Come on, buddy. You can do it. Yay. The hard part is over, I think. just bring it all the way over here. We can use this to get up on top of it, and hopefully I can do this the first try. Jump over. Yeah, that's kind of a one of the worst puzzles on there. It's pretty simple, yet it's complicated at the same time, just because of how the physics engine is. What we can do is take this battery and just put it off. So now you can touch this all you like, even though that's kind of pointless. And yeah, there's another way you could do this, which is, you know, you don't need this barrel. All you need is this. What you do is place it kind of like, wait, like that. And when the fence is still active, you can just jump. Actually, you know what? I could probably demonstrate that. Yeah, and you can put the battery back, but I don't know why you would want to do that. See? Real simple. Explosives. Damn it! How am I gonna get in there now? I wonder how. Take out your pickaxe and just smash the door in. I wish you could do that for all the doors that are in this mine, but... Oh, glitches, I love you. If we open that box with that lid that just mysteriously disappeared, we can see that there is dynamite. We can pick it up. Now, there's not too many uses for dynamite, mostly just clearing enemies, but I like to pick it up anyway. Cherry bombs that don't work, painkillers. Now this is what you need. Gunpowder keg. If we try and just... Oh, first, if you look at your notes, you can go to the... Nope, not that one. You can go to the explosives book. This is what you actually need in order to make the fuse. It goes into a little bit of detail, but what you basically need to do is, if you want to pause it here, you can pause it to read it, but I'm going to exit out now. What you actually need to do is just combine the backstring with your cotton string in your inventory. And it'll say soaked cotton string. If we try and just do this, thread it through the hole, it's too small to thread the string through, which I don't think that would actually be the case, but what you need to do is take out your pickaxe and smash your way through another solution. Smash your way through to another solution again. If I could speak, that would have that was supposed to come out good, but I can't speak, so whatever. We have some dry gunpowder. And all we got to do is use the string on this. And now we have the fuse. I don't think there's actually anything left in here that's of interest. So let's go back the way we came. As you can see, all that's left to do is go to the northern area, which is what we're going to do. And can I... No, I can't. I can do it with some of them, I think. I can pick up the lanterns, depending on which... Like, can I do this one? No. I can pick up this one, which is what I like to do in this area. This is the explosives area, that's right. Nothing else of interest. get some lighting for this area. No, 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 no. Come on. No, damn it. Let's do this little pointless activity. That's not... Come on. Come now. Come on. Get up there. Perfect. Sort of. Just use the fuse on the TNT barrel that we placed there earlier. And it sort of shifts a little bit. It looks really funny. So, light her out. Spark it. And let's take cover all the way back here because the hitbox for the damage is kind of insane. And that's an opening just wide enough for us to get to. And let's go. Just jump straight into it, apparently. You can read that if you want, but I'm going to keep going. Now we're in the mine proper, or at least this section of the mine properly. There's these huge, huge cargo crates that I don't think actually anything is in a single one of these, but I just want to check anyway. Yeah. This place is pretty huge compared to the rest of the mines, and I am not able to speak because I'm silly. Another huge cargo crate, a crate that can be moved to the right there so we can get on with our life in this mine. One thing you'll notice is that the only light that's... Oh. I guess I should let that play out a little bit too. Yeah, that's the first sign that something else is down here that might not be the doggos. But what you'll notice immediately is that this is the only light that is not generated by you that is immediately apparent. And what is this? Wait, where is it? There it is. Power room. What we can do is open this door. I'm saying what we can do, and if you see here, and blah 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 a lot, that's just usually how I commentate. Power room. We don't need to go there just yet. I mean, we will eventually, but we'll see what else there is to see here. If we go up here, just a little bit further down this way, we can see a doggo right there. As we can see, nothing down here is going to work without power. Absolutely nothing. So what we gotta do is go back the way we came pretty much immediately. This is not the way we came. And go to the power room. Now, there's a whole lot of stuff you can do in this room. I'm going to try and go through it in sequence. Huge control panel here. Huge generator here. Now, you'd think that fixing the power would be pretty simple by just pulling a lever, but of course it's not. The generator is not on. So what we need to do is go over here and examine all this shit. It's made easier if you go over here, collect these batteries, save just in case. And look at this. This is, what does that say? Steelberg Generator Type 7G. This is the manual, evidently. Let's look. Now, this is kind of lore, flavor text, whatever, but basically it is a how-to on how to do this. But I have it pretty much memorized, so I don't really need to watch this or read this. But if you want to pause, you can, as usual. Okay, so what we need first is to look over here. Battery. Oh, well, first, what we are meant to do, apparently according to this little text, is do the startup sequence. But as you can see, nothing pops up. This big old box right here. Generator spare parts. Batteries. Really, really worn, faded, and quite pixely labeled there. But we can see it is welded tight shut. And there are no machines around here to open it. But what we can do right here with our tools is remove these barriers around this super, super large hole. Sorry. And all we gotta do is we can do it the fun way, which is this, or we can just do it the normal way. Whoop! And climb down. Spooky whispering that doesn't actually have any effect on gameplay. Grab battery and climb back up. Success, we have battery. Good news, guys, we have battery. Now, if only we had hope for the future in this super dark mine. Put the battery in there. Battery in, startup motor functional. We should be set. We're not set, but basically, at first, you can pretty much do whatever you want with these levers now. Like, if it doesn't matter. Like, if I just pull them from left to right. Come on. And then I try and go over here and start it up. It's always going to happen this way. So if I do that, then it didn't matter which order I pull them in, even though it does matter the second time. There's always going to be a flare breaking, and we can see it right here. So what we need to do is just put that somewhere where we can't confuse it with the new one, and see, yep, there's a blown fuse. Nothing down here does work, including your brain for coming here in the first place. If we proceed back to where we came from and just jog a little bit this way to the right of the main little area with the gate, just more to the south of it, I guess, yeah. We can see over here. Actually, we're not meant to come here just yet. Whoop, ignore that. If we travel this way, I believe. Yes. Communications center. You can switch this off and on, but it doesn't really do anything. There's a note here. What's funny is if you just get the furthest bit to the furthest bit closer to the wall, you can see that these wires don't actually connect to the boxes. That's a little bit of a, you know, goof on the map designer's part, but you know, they did the best that they could given 2007 tech. So if we quit mucking around, we can look at this note. Basically, this is the mine foreman being grumpy and saying, "Hey boys, quit stealing our fucking radios, and also stop hiding the fuses on the top shelf in the storeroom." Which is the hint of wink, wink, nudge, nudge. That's where you can find a spare fuse. Yeah. If we can look over here, we can see this. We can pick it up. Narrowband communications radio. As soon as we pick this up, see Morse code. Or hear Morse code, rather. That's not actually useful to us right now, because we don't know how to translate that. I actually don't know Morse code off the top of my head, so... We're gonna go back to that other room that we were not meant to go into quite yet. It's right over here. Fuses! But the box is empty. Now what's funny about this is you can see the fuse up there. But, oh yeah, here's a manual and some more supplies. I bet there's not too much else up here. What we do is drag these two boxes that are right here. Really easy to get this, if you can manage to get up there. And what's funny about this is, if you just look at it again from a regular distance, you can still see, there's a fuse, how to reach it, despite the fact that you have already picked up the fuse. Really funny. Oh, is this not one of those? Oh, no, it's not. Okay, this is not one of those, lights that can move. Anyway. We're not going to be careful. We're going to slide these to the side, just because there's some supplies here, and this manual, as well as this broom. But the broom is literally useless. I honestly don't know why they put it in here. You can do basically nothing with the broom, even though it acts like a weapon. So we're going to ignore the broom. Pick up the emergency manual. And all this is flavor text. All this is flavor text. Morse code reference. This is actually what we need. Now that we have the fuse, we go back to the generator room. Okay, now here's the part where we actually have to follow the sequence of the startup as defined in the manual. I believe, let me try and do it off of memory, let's see. So I think it's the secondary startup, and then it is... Which one? It's one of these. I think it might be this one, then this one, then this one, then the primary startup, and we just pull this lever, and fingers crossed I got it right on the first time. Yeah, I did. Would you look at that? Power is back to the mines, and that means a few lights will be lit. Not too many, actually. Save. And if I just wanted to be funny, I could go over here and just stick my foot into one of these, quote-unquote. I stopped it with the force of my body. Anyway. Now the power's back on, we can operate that control panel. Yep, see, a few lights are on, not too many, but it's better than nothing. So right before we're about to enter the code, I think, there he is.
Good day. Good day, can you hear me?
Let's park ourselves over here.
Well, I hope that your ears are working better than your tongue, so that you might use them to listen to my words. You have turned on the light at the end, beginning, and middle of the tunnel, but some things remain shrouded in darkness. My emergency message I hope has helped, but what you need now is to the wall hole to the right of the fence. Oh, go now, there is no time to explain. Well, in fact, time is one of the few things we have in abundance down here. What surprises are spoiled by such catty curiosity.
That is the man known as Red, and he is contacting us through this comms radio that we have in our inventory, and he's the one who gave us the Morse code message. Now, I don't remember the Morse code right off the top of my head, so I'm going to see if I can go back here and figure that out. Is this the right room? Yes, this is. Which one will it be? Let's see. 5. Wait. Let's see. 5. 5, 7. 3. 5, 7, 3, 8. Five, 7, 3, 8. 5, 7, 3, 8. And now we have Doggo to deal with, but again, these are pretty easy to deal with. I guess I could show what happens with the beef jerky, though. Let's see if I can do that without getting myself in trouble. So if you do this, you can hold it down to ready to throw it, and then throw it. He took notice of that. Just beat the crap out of them. That's all you really gotta do. They get their final meal of beef jerky, and I get safety. We see a conveniently placed map. There isn't actually too much else aside from the storage, communication central, the key panel, and the power room in the first section. You can go either left or right. As we can see, this is pointing us to the auxiliary shaft, which is where we actually need to go. If we just crouch here for a moment.
My memory is like something with a great many small holes. We shall be needing to perform some minor demolition work so that we might one day meet again. For this task, we shall require the use of a large, earth-eating metal monster, and that monster is thirsty for juice from the place where things are kept. By the way, you can call me Red. It's not my name, you understand, but I am sure you will agree it is a name rather similar to a cardigan. Fetching when worn correctly.
He introduces himself as Red, and he says what we're gonna need to get to him, supposedly. Hello. This is blocked by a plank of wood. Another rockfall, ambient noise that doesn't actually do anything. We don't have anything that'll get through this, and you can't as far as I can tell, you can't actually hack it as far as getting through that door. Come on. There's this inside here. Yeah, these are pretty cool. I've never really used these myself before just because it seems a little excessive, but what you can do is that. Pressurized canister. hit it, and then you direct it toward whatever you want to direct it toward, and then it'll blow up in your face. Or in something else's face, if you prefer. Which I think you would. Actually, you know what? Let's try this. I've not actually done this before. Let's see. Does that work? No. Of course not. What we need to do first is go to the tool shed, just because we're going to need some tools for the objectives ahead. Tool shed. Pretty simple room. This is so much flavor text. There's not too much actually here of use to gameplay. We'll just skip over that entirely. But basically it says something about, we're working here on something that is not mining, and there's a tunnel system above where we're working, and we need cartography on it. Basically, that's what that says. We have a saw. Pretty much all we need. We can go right back there and saw off that plank of wood, but first what we can actually do that's a little bit more useful is go this way, I think. Yes. Storage. Here's another map, just in case we need to know where we are. Storage is that way, it's right there. Another doggo. I will take care of doggo first. Is that just... Yeah, that's just ambient. Okay, that was nothing. If we try to go to storage... Damn, I can't get this door to open.
Those holes in my mind are increasingly gaping. You cannot breach the inner sanctum of the place of storing. The entryway is blocked. So what if the squashy material between my ears is squashier than most? I may not be perfect like a hanging picture, but my words are wise and backed up by time. A pox on both your brain cells. Try as I may, you must think that I deceive you with my admittingly cunning ways. As far as my eye has seen, our rocky grave extends, and yet you cast away my hope like you would a puppy freshly rolled in its own feces. I hope that your warped sense of morality is better company than I, because now it is all you have left.
3, 2, 1. 1.
I'm sorry. Sometimes my emotions are like a disobedient pet. Uncontrollable and often rolling in shit. Better safe than sorry, they say. But I think we are both sorrier than we are safe. A tunnel lies between a nearby watery cave and the place where things are kept. Take the second right from the closed door, and you will find what you seek.
Alright. So that's actually useful advice. Where he's directing us towards is Excavation. Spooky whispers return. And now we are in my opinion, what is actually one of the coolest areas of the game. The water cave. Or excavation as it's labeled in the game itself. Yeah, we're doing good on battery. Now there's a lot of world building here, combined with some of the other notes. Also there's a little bit of a puzzle here as to how you can get up there, which is where you need to go. And I think if I walk this way... Yep. we just look around a little bit, we can see some suspicious fog or mist. And this is one of my favorite descriptions, so I'll read this even though, you know, I'm not really supposed to. The rock itself looks as if it's given up on life and begun to decay, like the rest of this place. Yeah. So, another note with some flavor text. That's about the substance tests about the fog. Mostly right here. Not much of significance as far as gameplay goes. Another save point. Let's save. Flashbang with some text. Now, you can do this two ways. You can cheese it, or you can just do it the normal way. I'm going to do it the normal way. What you do is you pick up one half of this ladder and just kind of throw it up there onto those little hook things if I can get it right, unless I get it caught. There we go. It just kind of snaps into place. It's a little goofy, but what you're actually meant to do is take this these these boxes over here, and move the big one. Move this big one. Come on. All the way over here. Come on. There we go. Move it so it's aligned with the top part of this little slab of rock, and take one of these, one of the little ones, move it up the slanted part of this slab of stone so that you can put it onto the top of the bigger box, making a little bit of a stairway. And it's a little tricky, but it is possible to get the ladder. Come on. Come on, it's right there. Are you kidding me? What? Oh, that was weird. Come on. There we go. Well, almost. There. Okay. I don't think there's anything actually left in here, and what I gotta do is I gotta be careful because the level exit will trigger sometimes as you're in the middle of, the level exit will trigger and it'll disconnect you from the ladder, so sometimes you fall and just fuck up your leg a little bit as you're moving to the next level, so I gotta be careful. Yep, see, it's also quite easy to fall off that ladder. Oh, come on. Being silly now. Go up, go up, go up. There we go. Now, a lot of things happen here in very fast sequence. I'm not going to go into detail, but just follow along with what I do if you're stuck here. And, I just blanked out for a second. I'm so sorry. Yeah, follow along with what I do and try and pay attention to everything. I'm going to go through this as fast as I can, but basically what you're going to do is end up being chased by spiders. You're going to have to block off an entrance. You're going to have to block off another entrance by means of lighting some material on fire. And then you're going to have to go and use your pickaxe to get through some walls. So let's see if I can do this on the first try. That's closed off. I'm not chased yet, but I will be like within the next 5 seconds. Okay, what you're going to want to do, take this rock and put it there. Now, I don't remember which way it is. Nope, that's the wrong way. We're still okay, we're still okay. That is what you're going to want to light on fire, so that they can't follow you for too long. Alright. There we go. Now, we move this. Go this way, to the right.
Now you should find yourself in the watery cave of Conversation's Best, with a tunnel
Acid
above
pit,
you
watch
from
yourself.
times ahead. In this tunnel, for both our sakes,
Go.
be careful, not curious.
Go.
I have already spoken to you about the cat. And
giant boulder behind us.
Not only out of the
Go to
question,
the left.
but out of the window and climbing down the gutter.
Boulder will smash into those spider eggs, but keep
Keep
going.
love to suck on the human fluids. So
Smash these walls with
they
your
are fragile
pickaxe.
like the china vase in the hooves of the bull.
Shut up, Red. Just keep going, just keep going. If you want to buy yourself more time, you can do this. The spiders are scared of your flashlight, but not for too long. And now we can leave. I'm still alive. Yep.
There should be some insect repellent in that red and white cross box in that room. Just in case those spiders found your flesh delicious. How does my brain flesh know your fluids are leaking? Because the red tricked you. The spidery tunnel was far from a necessary evil. More so, it served as a well-deserved punishment. You thought my mind had been lost to the ravages of time, but poetic justice has struck with a sonnet and an 8-legged baptism of fire. With justice now served cold, I hope that we can be good friends. Now reclaim the key and go-go juice, and find a way to the mining monster.
We are now in the storage room, and Red had apparently tricked us, even though there wasn't actually another way to get into the storage room in the first place, as we can see by this. We smash these boards so we can return to whence we came. I need to stop fucking around with the crouch key, because it's not the crouch key that I'm trying to activate. There. No insect repellent, but painkillers, just in case we're not fine, but we are fine, so that's good. Damn it! Another door! Now, you can do this the long way or the short way. They're both pretty easy, but what I usually like to do is go around through the vent system in the room. And what you can do is you can take your pickaxe and just do that. But I'm also going to show you the vent way, so I'm not going to go there just yet. Supplies, but useless. Very angelic sounding music there. Whole installation is just falling apart. Just like my sanity in real life. Ah, who am I kidding? I haven't had that in a long time. I am kidding nobody with that. Flare, battery, beef jerky, beef jerky, beef jerky. Here is what we need. One of what we need that isn't just a regular old supply. If we tilt this, we can just reach in and grab the vehicle key that we need. For something later. Now if we go through these vents and just smash down a few of these covers. Come on. We could have moved this, but as you can see, I just decided to smash the door open. And oh wow, whoa, okay. That's I've never actually done that before. Whoa, that's certainly some physics right there. It's like it has no gravity while I'm holding on to it. Wow. Wow. Whee! Anyway, let's put this aside. Go to and from here as much as we want now. I said let's move that aside. Come on. There. Better. It's a little loading room with what we assume would be a passage up to the surface. You can move this crane with these levers. Save just in case we need it. I am gonna take another little intermission here, splitting the recording, but again, it should not interrupt the viewing experience. 1 moment. Less than a moment for you guys. Alright, we are back. Or at least I am. You guys never left. We are still in here, this little room. These 2 lockers I'm not going to look at too much, just because the only thing of use in them is a book with pretty much my favorite 2 words this recording session: flavor text, Inuit mythology. This is fine. Oh, wait. This is fine, it's nothing. This is nothing, really. This is significant, but still, it's just flavor text, so I'm not going to bother reading it. It's basically about the turn gate, and how the myths may be true. Well, not exactly how that is, but it's just describing the turn gate, pretty much. So what you're actually supposed to do in this room is use these levers. You don't need to, like, activate the power or anything, it just works. And it'll move that box wherever you want it to. A couple ways you can do this, because the objective actually is to get up there, to that vent. So, grabbing these batteries, looking to see if anything else is on these shelves. Couple ways you can do this, but what I like to do is just drag this box all the way over here, or just about to where it's up against this wall. This will be the first part of the step, and you gotta move this box, maneuver it over to where you can use that as like the second step in what you can do. So which lever is it? Let's see. No, it's up. Bring it down a little bit, and is it this one? Yes. I think that might work, maybe. Yeah, okay. Jump, jump again, jump a 3rd time, and we're good. Smash the ventilation grate, crawl through. More ominous whispering. You just trail along the edge there, you can avoid falling. Smash this one. Oh. Come on. There we go. So this is what you're supposed to do over here. And this is what you're meant to grab, this can of quote-unquote go-go juice, aka gasoline. Now we have everything that we're going to need to go to the auxiliary shaft, which is the next area that we're going to go to, and make use of the key and the gasoline. And we can't get back this way, but what we can do is go back up there. What I like to do is just stack these wooden pallets up in such a way where I can just kind of cheese my way back up onto the shelf, and I didn't do it there, but that's okay. Come on. Get up there. Get out. There we go. Yep. Cheesed it. That's okay. What's our objectives right now? Yep. Need to saw the board away and reach the auxiliary shaft, which is what we're gonna do. Smash! Smash! Yep, nothing else left in here, I think. Let's just... Oh, wait. Did I not go here? Oh, I didn't go here. Okay. I don't think there's anything vital in this room, but I'm still gonna take a look around. This is a dead end. Can't go up that way. More flares. That's good. Even though I haven't been using them. Whoever is watching this might want to. And I think that is it. For the storage room. I might have missed like 1 or 2 things, but they're not important to progression, so let's get going. We are back in the main area, and where we need to go is this way. towards the auxiliary shaft, and I believe that's another dog. I can take care of that. If I have to. Where are you? There you are. Oh, ducking around a corner. Hi, Pooch. Their health does gradually get higher and higher the further you progress in the game. But it usually only takes, I would say, maybe like 5 or 6 hits at the highest amount of health that they end up having to incapacitate them and kill them. Wait, is this? No. That's right. I have to use the saw on the plank of wood. Auxiliary shaft. This way. Yep, right here. Just use the saw. Really, really simple. Another little cave-in ambient noise. Warning, doggos. And the texture's flipped on this side. I'm not even sure which way is supposed to be facing the proper way, but it's a little funny thing I noticed. We are here in the new section, the newer section of the mine to us, and there's another dog. I'm going to take care of him right away. Hello. Goodbye. Nope. Uh-oh. Ah. I'm still fine. No worry. Yet. Oh, what? Yup. Or position. Oh, that's super funny. The backside of this map texture is like an enlarged section of the lower right corner there. Oh, the charm of it being a really scuffed game. Oh. Speaking of things that are scuffed. Oh. Well, that went about as well as I expected it to. Nothing too significant in this area except for a note, which I will pick up. I think it's this way? Yeah, it is this way, actually. Okay, I was going the right way. There's a note up here which is super, super long, and all of it is like history and flavor text. Not gonna bother explaining all that. You can go watch some of the other videos that are about Penumbra Overture if you want to see that. But I don't think there's anything... well, I think there might be an area back here that is somewhat of note, but there's nothing vital in this area. I'm just looking to see if I'd missed any collectibles for reference and note. Yeah, nothing back here. Nothing in here. Iron Mines auxiliary shaft. Alright, yep, nothing else pretty much to it. Welcome to the auxiliary shaft. The area must be the access point to reach further into this mine. Exactly correct. And this is the metal monster that Red was talking about. Very industrial size, and exactly what we need to break through this rock segment right here. So what we need to do first is we can look around and see, well, one of two things. We can see that you can sort of interact with this, but not in the way you'd expect. I could try clicking all over it, even though the interact icon is there. And another peculiarity is the texture is again reversed, so the fuel logo right here is backwards. So good job on that one, guys. Frictional Games. But what you can do is go over here, try to use the fuel can on the fuel thing. Even though it doesn't matter, you can do it anywhere on the machine. If you want to keep it consistent, you could use it on here if you'd want to. But it says the lid on the gas can is rusted shut. So what do? It's actually a little bit unconventional. Is what you do is you can take one of these tools, mostly just the hammer, and combine it with the gasoline. Got the lid off. Now, what's funny about this is you can actually drop the gasoline can. And I don't know if there's too many other objects that you can just drop. Like, you know, it's a vital object, and you can just drop it wherever you want. Yeah, you get the idea. So before we mess with this control panel, we can go over here and see... Oh.
You seek to find the truth behind all this mystery, and think it will set you free. But truth is relative, and relatives cannot be trusted to bring good gifts. What you seek lies in the shafts beyond this collapsing of the sky, and if you look closely, so do I. A century of days has passed since I saw this area last. The diseased ones sought to kill poor Red, but I took them on a wild poultry chase. They ended dead. They came from out the big metal door, but after all my years I knew the caves more. Hide and seek turned to seek and hide, and I buried them here beneath the solid rock sky.
That's a little bit of exposition from Red, but if we go over here, we can see some things that are useful. A flare, and another flare, and a dynamite stick up there. Artifact that we can save with. And this, the power cabinet, and if we try and interact with this, must be the control station. It does not have any power to it. We won't be able to use it at all. But what we can do is we can grab this power cable, this huge power cable over here, connect one end of it to the panel, and one end of it to the cabinet. Now we have power. And we can unlock the panel with the key that we picked up from the storage room. And now, all we gotta do is pull this lever forward, and you'll see what happens. I'm pretty sure that's not how the excavator is meant to be portrayed as drilling through the rock, because it just pretty much explodes instead of either way, but it works. What's funny is that, oh, what? Fuel into, oh, that's funny. That's super funny. The areas of examination are still there. Just checking to make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, what's funny is that it looks more like this would be the place where you would go to instead of this, which is just, you know, a blank wall, instead of this, which has like an arch over it and a bunch of rock and an examination info text. But it is what it is. We can go this way, through this huge passage that this thing has generously given us. You know, the excavations. Bits and pieces over here, but nothing important. Let's go. I'm not going to read that. You can if you want to. Here we are in one of the, for me, scariest areas because of what we're about to face. We are very, very deep down. And we're about to start paying for some of our ignorance. So something's going to come through those doors at the end. And I'm not going to say what it is, but I will show you. Because I can avoid it pretty easily. Oh, God. Ugh. Oh. Yeah, giant worm. I think there's only 2 of those that actually show up in this game, but both of them are just... Jesus Christ, how horrifying. To me, anyway. It has opened up this way for us, and there's not much here. This is the way that we need to go, but it doesn't have a handle. So we can turn over here. There's some stuff over here, but it's mostly just you can examine it, and that's pretty much it. What we do is go over here, and there are going to be some spiders in this place. They're pretty easily avoided, though. Like, this is not one of those areas where you're just constantly being chased by the spiders. Like, come on, go away. We're scared of my frickin' flashlight. You're no threat to me. Yeah. Goodbye. Oh, you're going right where I need to go. Wait for it. Wait for it. Spider corpses just disintegrate into gas, apparently. That's totally how this works. Just more bits and pieces and flavor text lore about those documents. But what's really important is, first we can go over here, see if there's anything we can grab. There's this, which you can throw at the spiders if you really need to, and these if you need to blow them up, but we're not going to be messing around with any of that. We're just going to flip this switch right here, marked by this light, and I'm going to do this up, and then run, just because the door is going to be open, but it's not going to be open for too long, and I don't want to have to try and repeat doing all this. Excuse me, Mr. Spider. We just speed through here. Oh! We got a straggler. Can it? Yep, nope. That's embarrassing. Ow. I'm still alright. Okay. And there's no level door or anything, it's just this is it. This is the level transition area.
With my remaining ear to the ground, I hear your trembling Tootsies padding towards their final destination. Things come to those that wait, whether they want them or not. And soon I think your wait will be over. The great metal door in reality is calling you, just as the Reaper beckons me forward. I look forward to finally greeting you. I only hope I need not greet the Reaper man first.
Thanks for that little bit of exposition, Red, but it doesn't really help us with gameplay. These you can hide in, or just behind, but again, it's really easier to just avoid the dogs, or just deal with them directly. There are also some traps that you can place and use in this area specifically. But again, I'm not going to make use of those, it's really just time wasting. So Section C is actually where we need to go first and foremost. Not that we're actually going to be able to get access to Section C right away, but because it outlines what you need to do to get to Section C. This door right here has a padlock. And we don't have the code. So we are going to look and see what else is in this room at first. Probably not going to get easy access to the code anytime soon, but it never hurts to look. And I am just trying to keep, you know, keep up things to say. I think it's... yeah, that's really weird. Looks like there should be a door there, but there ain't. And there's a super special closet here that I don't think appears in any other area of the Penumbra games. Right in this area, but it is completely empty. What even the heck was the point of making that? I don't know. It's very elegant for no reason. Anything? No, doesn't look like it. Okay, I know there's another door here, I'm just being blind. There you are. Nothing in the first aid cabinet, of course. Now here we have two important tools that we're going to need to get through some things. Screwdriver and the bolt cutters. And not much else. So let's keep going. There is a map right here, and there's a dog right there, apparently. Let's see if I can do this quickly. We are here at Section C, and what we need to go to first is, I think, Shaft 13. That's on the other side. So let's see if we can get there without passing by too many dogs. I think it's Shaft 13. Shaft 13. Oh, okay, hello. No. Shaft 13. This way. Yep, this way. Okay, so this is one of the traps that I mentioned. Now what you can do is you can use these steam pipes to kill the dogs. If you throw a piece of beef jerky into here, like this, like there's no dog around, but I'm just doing this to demonstrate. You throw a piece of beef jerky in there, a dog will smell it and go in to eat it. You can shut the door behind them and turn the steam on, like this. And it'll kill the dog. But it is kind of a time waster, so I don't really usually bother with that. Shaft 13. Now here is another high tense situation that I'm about to get into. So what you want to do is get through this rock fall, but you can't. This big boulder, you can only interact with it after you've reached the other side, so we're not going to be messing with that. What we got to do is go through this tunnel right here, and there are more spiders in this tunnel. Now what I'm going to be doing is trying to go through this thing without dying at least, you know, at least once. So what I will do is try my best to avoid the spiders. I don't think there's any, like, puzzles that are in these spider tunnels this time, but I'm not going to, you know, commentate too much while I'm doing this, just because I'm going to focus. So try and follow my movements. If you're having trouble with this, I will try my best to guide whoever's watching this. Let's get into it. And there's a cave-in that's going to happen, like, right after I go in here as well. Okay, not that way. And we can already, and there are spiders in here, so it's not a false alarm like the other tunnels might have been. All right, hello, spider eggs. Oh, that was actually pretty painless. Okay, so what we gotta do really quickly is move this boulder that was in front of the larger cave-in and just roll it over so that you don't have any more unwanted visitors. Because they absolutely can follow you out into this little locker room. Like, it's happened to me on a couple of playthroughs where they'll just follow me and I'll be in the middle of reading this note right here, and I'll be like, what is hitting me? Oh, it's a spider. So, we made sure that that did not happen. We are inside a locker room, and it is just in a very, very poor state, so we're not going to stay around here for too long. We can pick up this note, which, aside from some flavor text, it does have a vital piece of information. Spider danger music is playing for some reason, but we're not actually in danger. So, what is it? Where does it say? He gave us all code sheets, made us swear to keep them safe. Mine hasn't left my locker. I had to trek all the way to that crazy biologist's office in the mining room this morning just to check the code for Section C. That's it. That's what we need to go. That's where we need to go after finding the code sheet that's in here. More flavor text. And a blank page on the very end of the document for some reason.
Unless my friends lie somewhere near you now. A friend indeed is a friend indeed. But a friend that's dead is a poor conversationalist. May they rest in pieces, ruptured and decomposing pieces.
Thank you, Red. Now, I believe the code sheet is in one of these lockers right here against the far wall. It's under... Come on. Ah, I was right. It's underneath the helmet. So we have this code sheet that's basically just a blank note. And we gotta go somewhere to a biologist's office, apparently. Or laboratory. To get what we need. These lockers over here I don't think have too much except for more jerky and batteries for the flashlight. Those are useful. Painkillers. Flares. And a whole lot of nothing else. That's all we need in here. Pretty short area. And as you can see, no way we are getting back into there, not like we were going to go there anyway. A second time. Back to the main area. Now where we need to go is shaft 12. Which is all up there to the north. Nope. Hello, you. Hey. I'm talking to you. With my pickaxe. Oh, you talked back. Okay, I can deal with that. Jerk. Shaft 12 is right there, too. Now, if we try and go into Shaft 12, however... it is locked or obstructed from the other side. We don't know which yet, but what we need to do, instead of going directly to Shaft 12, we can go to Shaft 12 through the Refinery, which is right there. Another thing I really like about the Penumbra series, just to fill up some time while we deal with this dog and go to the Refinery, is I really love the music. Mikko Tarmia, I believe, is the composer for this, as well as the Amnesia games. Well, at least Amnesia: The Dark Descent and one of the other ones, I think. It's really good. It's really well made. Like, even this theme that's playing right now, the dog search theme, I've heard it a million times, and I still think it's a pretty good track. Even if I'm a little bit tired of hearing it by now, I can appreciate it on an aesthetic level. Like, a lot of these ambient tracks that are used through the environments are some of the best music I've heard in a game, even though it's super old by this point. We are in the Refinery, and welcome to the Refinery. One of the worst areas of the game, in my personal opinion, just because it's nothing but weirdly drawn out puzzles. But that's okay. What we've got to do first is get through this machine. There is no direct way to get through the machine without going to the conveyor belt. And what we got to do to free up the conveyor belt is move these pistons up somehow. Now we can see this wire going all the way up there to the control panel. Really, it's just trial and error, and sometimes the interaction icon doesn't pop up, so, come on now. Yeah, my interaction icon is not popping up with those buttons. Let me see if I can fix that really quick. Oh, okay, stuck. Must have jammed shut when I closed it. Okay, no matter. I will just have to try and, like, aim as best as I can. I almost got it already, actually. It's really just trial and error here. Just press random buttons. It doesn't take the shit. Oh. There we go. Yeah, that didn't take too long at all. Just whatever I did up there, do that. Now this will become useful a little bit later, a few minutes later. Let's go. There aren't any enemies here.
Only the engraving etched in the back of my mind can compare to the sight you must be seeing. Now power has returned. I wish I could be there with you, but circumstances do not allow for such frivolities. Maybe soon there is something you can do about that. But tell me, are there other belting conveyances now churning in the rock room? I think I know where they lead. It is some kind of heaven or a utopia.
Okay, so after Red's little bit of exposition there, what's important is this motor. We're going to need this in the next area. So what we can do is place this right here, I believe. We need to get up there, but we can't get it down. We can't get it down, but one of these rocks can. We bring a rock all the way back to the other side of the conveyor belt, and put it through this passageway, through this other conveyor belt, it will knock the ladder down. Waiting, waiting. Waiting a bunch. There it is. Oh, one moment. Okay, right back where we left off. We're now up here after Mr. Brock has helped us out. And we need to do two things while we're up here. We can press this button, which opens that up. And we can deal with this fan, which will slice us in half if we try and pass it otherwise. We can't do it with just a rock, so what we will do is go back down, grab one of these, throw it up as best we can, just chuck it up there. And just kind of quickly wedge it between those fan blades. And there you go. Easy access. Before we do that, we are going to save a little bit of time here and put this right here. So that'll be waiting for us on the other side. There's no enemy in these vents. There's never any enemy in these vents.
We are now such good and lasting friends. I have gifted you with my love. Perhaps you could gift me with something. After all, the laws of politeness will be shattered if you were to appear at my party without a gift. Poor Red is so hungry. He could eat both the horse and the young rippling stable hand. Sadly, pony flesh is so hard to come by in this part. Man meat is so bland. If your eyes happened upon a scurrying rodent, would you deliver the crunchy feast by way of a final meal?
Thanks, Red. I suppose. So this button is meant to open this gate. It's really simple. All you gotta do is bring the motor over to this side through this conveyor belt and put it right in here. And then we go down here. Now this is the worst area in the game. This is really unforgiving. This steam will kill you in an instant, and even now I don't have the exact combination memorized. It's really just trial and error. Despite how it looks, there's not actually a way to shut all these things off. Like, even if you made it to the other side, got some of those barrels that are way the heck away over there, and leaped into that little area right there with the big valve, you can't turn that. And you'd be stuck in there. I've gotten stuck in there once before. So, yeah, don't do that. Let's see. Is it this? Is it this? No, it's not. Okay. That one. That one. Okay, let's try this again. There we go. Yeah, it's a little tricky, but it's manageable. So if we walk up these stairs, we can see that this door, wherever in heck this might lead, will not help us. But it's pretty simple. You gotta just go downstairs beneath the staircase and expose the ventilation system again. actually. I'm not sure what is back that other way. Because that is the way to shaft 12, I believe. But what's the other way? Let's see. I don't quite remember. Is it just a dead end? Yes, it is a dead end. Okay. Always good to check for where certain items might be, though. Like, that's one thing I've taken away from all these survival exploration horror games, is check every corner, try to remember the layout of every room and hallway, and pay attention to detail. Now here is one of my favorite areas of the game, after we went through one of the least favorite areas of the game, in my opinion, is Shaft 12, aka the laboratory. And a little detail that's already funny is this minecart was what was blocking the door. It was not actually locked, but the wheels are somehow spinning left and right all on their own. So, haunted minecart. How about that? We can just drag that out of the way right there, and we have easy access to the rest of the mine again. Going this way. Can't get out that way. Another non-haunted cart with some chains holding it in place. If we go down here, we can see that the way is blocked. And it's surprisingly new. If we try and pickaxe it, that ain't gonna happen. But we have the tools that we need to clear this obstruction in more ways than one. We have this tool, bolt cutters, and we can slice through these chains pretty easily. And this can be more of a tool to us than the pickaxe can for this particular situation. All we gotta do is push it, and it'll go down the tracks that are down here. I'd say that's a very effective way to get through a wall. This minecart is now haunted as well. Bunch of books that aren't really useful to us. Whoever was here was studying the worms that we are going to have to contend with a little bit more throughout this game. Newspaper clippings. History and flavor text, of course. Save point. Another historical document. No gameplay impact. And a third with no gameplay impact again. And somebody signed their name on a separate page. How interesting. '60s microscope. Now this you can't actually read, but that is useful for gameplay purposes, because this door over here, past this chalkboard, is locked. It's not locked in the traditional way, though. It's kind of jammed, and the key is stuck in its own lock. Nothing in the first aid cabinet, and nothing of use, actually, over here, except for this worm corpse that's just a peculiarity. What we can do, though, it's pretty simple. We gotta just set the newspaper on the floor right there, and use the screwdriver to poke the key out, and then collect it. Unlocking that door leads us into this room, where it seems like a worm has been recently, but no worm actually shows up. We're not in any danger in this room. Red is supposed to say something here. I'm not sure exactly how it gets triggered. Let me try. There he is.
While you hunt for those delicate, melt-in-your-mouth mousy morsels, there are places you should not go, for fear of death. The Reaper lives here, just like you and I. And just like you and I, he must ingest the living flesh of those less fortunate than him. There is a small place that I do not want you to visit, even on your holidays, because it is dark and evil place that I've been. When the darkness has overwhelmed my small decaying mind, some bad things flowed from my mind and through my pen. The brilliant blue ink itself seemed to turn to blood into my grace. And by the way, should you turn peckish, red is at its finest sautéed with a little engine oil.
Yeah, it's actually like on purpose not gonna let me go into that hole. Let me see though. I haven't actually tried messing around with it too much. Yep, not too much back there. It's not very surprising. But what we can do after all that like exposition by Red is flick this light switch. Really, really creepy, I gotta say. One of the creepiest scenes ever, but at least in Overture. But what's actually important gameplay-wise is if we go to this blank note that we picked up in the locker room and just pull it out by double-clicking it, there is some text showing up now. And the note reads, storage password 1371. So, now we can get to sector or section C, whichever it is. It's 1371, 1371. But before we go, let's just look around, see if there's any items. I know there is one note of significance. I will not be reading it, but I will be summarizing and making it to where you can pause to read it as well. There it is. Yep. To summarize, a professor had come into the mines however many years ago and studied the worms. And he says, hey, these worms could probably grow to be really, really large in 1,000 years or so. And then the alternate writings on this note are some guy who escaped from somewhere and manages to survive for a couple of days in this lab against the supersized versions of these worms, but he's like, hey, this is hopeless. I'm gonna choose my own end to things. And so, yeah, he died, and we're probably gonna die if we don't do anything about all these worms as well, which is what is gonna happen in the next section of the game, funnily enough. We are gonna deal directly with one of the worms. Now that we have the code, we can go to Sector C, or Section C, whichever it is. I think this way is just a dead end, right? Yeah, there's this door that, it's just here for no reason. Welded shut somehow. Go here to Section C, entrance 1371. Red's gonna speak up, I think. on, Red. Where's your words? Where are your words of wisdom?
Really, the hunger is becoming rather uncomfortable here. How far away are you? You cannot be far. I am held captive by a wall of stone in the northeast of the mine. As in any drama, there are many roles to be played. You must act the scientist in mixing potions, act the renegade in plots of destruction. On your travels for the tools with which you will fashion my rescue, you may discover the place of my last meal. Be careful. The shiny, solid floor of water is not as solid as it seems. Poor Red was almost swallowed whole. The two foolsy men who plummeted into my domain have long since departed, though not I expect from whence they came. I ate ravenously of biped meat that day, but Red promises feasting only began when the man became pungent, when the stench of life had gone, and only the sweet aroma of decay remained.
Exposition from Red is done, and now we can deal with this guy. Now let's see if we can get over here without losing too much of our health. Lake Utuqaq, or however you pronounce it. Lake Utuqaq. Yeah, sue me, I can't pronounce things for shit. Utuqaq? The lake, as I'm just gonna call it, is this way. Past another dog, which I can deal with pretty easily. Hey, buddy. You're gonna need something from the lake. To get through the door. What we need to go towards is the Incinerator, and we're going to need to go through the lake and the chemical room before we do that. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to progress in the Incinerator, and I want to save on as much time as possible. Another trap in case I need it. Here is the lake. Now this is another one of my favorite areas of the game just because it's so different and it's a little bit unconventional what you're supposed to do here. But it's still pretty interesting. Did I miss something? No, I didn't. Okay. There's a backpack, an anomalous backpack with a bunch of blood right here. We have a flare and some painkillers, and here's a blood-soaked note. This is basically a guy went camping with his buddy. His buddy went crazy, and he attacked him. They both fell into the underground lake, and they both died. But the guy who attacked the other guy had a crowbar with him, so that's what we're going to try and find all the way over there. Now, there are two ways you can do this. There's nothing in the shed or of interest on this table except for this artifact. Really, just don't even know why they put this here. Two ways you can do this. You can do this along the edge, which is what I usually do. But the more exciting way is going directly across, which is what I can also do here for now. So if you look really carefully, you can see the edge of the area that will crack before it actually does that. So there are a couple ways to do this again. And, oh yeah, you see right there? Yeah. If you just take one step, there you have it. You can just jump. If you stand too long on a fragment of ice, it will start to sink, and once you're in the water, there's pretty much nothing you can do unless you get really lucky. Let's break this up. So, come on, I can see it. It's right there. All the way over there is what we need. Also, if you can't quite see the difference, the eye icon is a big help as well. I believe that's all the major areas, except maybe over there. I'm not sure. Okay, let's see. Let's see if I can do this the first time. Yeah, just hopping over it usually. Yeah, there we go. There is no exit here. But there is something of use, is this guy. Or what's left of him, anyway. What you do is, instead of trying to wrestle it out of his hands, you just saw it off. Jeez. See ya, buddy. Okay. Pretty easy. Oh, well, never mind about that. I jumped when I shouldn't have. No matter. Let's try this way next. Yeah. Easy if you pay attention to what you're doing. I'm being a little silly right now. Anything near these barrels? No. Yeah, lake is pretty much all you gotta do is get across there and get that crowbar. That is it for the lake. Let's go back to the mine. Now, what's next is the chemical area. Chemical storage, I think. And it looks like we are still... Okay, we're still right by the lake. Okay, we got a little bit of a trek to do that. So section B, that's where we came from. We don't need to go there again. There are two ways to get into chemical storage, but there's one way that's open and there's one way that's not. That's right. Now stay that way. Thank you for leading me to chemical storage. Is it this one? Yes, it is. Okay. Now, this is another high-paced, high-tension segment. I'm going to be chased by a worm. And, again, just follow what I do. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it perfectly or not. But I'm confident I can get through this. So, here we go. Save point there. Uh-oh. Hey, buddy. Seal the door. Okay, now we just go this way. Don't bother with any of that. All you gotta do is drag this box up there. And just jump, jump, jump. Seal this door. Use your pickaxe quickly. Hack through these planks. Hack through these planks. Another box, you can just drag it here. Acid does not give you too much damage, you can dip your toes in a little bit. Now what you do is hack through this right here. Now the worm will not be able to get you.
Oh, my brain can barely imagine the feats of action man like heroics you must be performing to save Old Red. I am waiting so close now for you to blow down the walls of my earthbound prison cell and release me from this mortal coil.
Thankfully, we have not been released from our own mortal coil after all that. This way here, it's a metal door that you can open with a lot of time and effort. by just spinning this valve. Nothing to it. But you wouldn't have been able to do that if the path had not been obstructed. The worm would have gotten you before then. Now we're in the chemical room. You only need 2 chemicals for the puzzle that's coming up, but the area does have a little script to where you've got to pick them all up, and then it'll say they're all accounted for. So yeah, like these chemicals right here. Magnesium, calcium, barium, chloride, phosphorus, sodium. Oh wait. Badly administered dopamine clouds frequently everything. Yeah, it's not really, you know, too important. Like, I think you just need to mix 2 of them, and you don't really need to match it up with the notes too much. It's really just a bunch of trial and error. You can get through it pretty quickly. They're collecting all the chemicals. Let me see if I don't need to get my foot caught in there. Beef jerky in case I need it, which I don't right now. Rest of it. Where are the rest of them? Let's see. Did I miss one? Oh, yes, I did. All 6 chemicals are accounted for. Good. Now, let's go to the last area of the game. The Incinerator. Well, actually, no, that's not true. The last packed area of the game, I should say. And the Incinerator is just down this hallway. Now, the reason we needed the crowbar will become apparent up here. Yeah, we're right here. Okay. So this door is locked, and we're not strong enough to force it open. But the crowbar is.
Where are you, my shiny knight? Have you really made it this far? I wait, and yet the pot never boils. I remain trapped in my den of iniquity. Perhaps the gods have toyed with me once more. Sentenced me to yet more years in this place of eternal nightlight. But now, maybe my ill advice has ended you. Have you rung death's doorbell? Please don't leave poor Ren all alone once more, like all the others.
Okay, so this is the cave-in that Red's trapped behind. We need to demolish it. And there's a typo there. An apostrophe in explosives. So, I'm saying so and that kind of thing a lot, but that's okay. So, what we need to do is go this way across these wooden planks. Just jump, be careful not to get your foot caught on anything or to stumble. And it just leads to this little room right here, which is pretty simple in how it'll help us. The door will open. Come on, there. So what we do, or however you'd say what we gotta do, is this. Get this glass container from that table, put it on this burner right here, turn the burner on by giving it a gas supply, and light it with the lighter. And I'm just gonna cut through the... oh, no, okay. You also need to grab the fuse from the drawer there. Nice dry fuse. And what I believe it is D and F of the chemicals. There it is. We cut through all the reading that you would need to do. And empty shelves. Anything else in here that we can use? Yeah, it's these. Not that we have much use for them now, but here we go. We grab this and be very, very careful with it. We just take tiny little hops across these planks. Careful. Careful. There you go. Alright. Now we just set this somewhere here and it'll auto snap into place. Put the fuse up there with it. Light it with the lighter and run away. Proceed downward. There are a couple ways forward, but two of them are inaccessible right now. First, there's this, the eye-catching great metal door that Red has talked about a couple of times. It ends up being real, it's different, it's newer than all the others. If we go over here, we cannot enter it just yet. We need something to lever it open. If we try the crowbar, it won't just pry open. If we can cut the power, we can get into there. If we try going to the left over here, there is this door, but it's locked. And it won't just break open like the other doors can. If you look through the gaps, I believe you can... oh, no. Well, it is the case for some of the doors, where if you look through the gaps, you can examine stuff that you wouldn't be able to see until after you'd unlocked it, but yeah. That's not the case for that one, but if we go over here, we have the most, I guess, dramatic moment of the game.
Good evening. You actually came. There is much that should leave my throat box now, but words elude me. You came, you are so pretty, but I have been bad. The underworld already beckons me, so I suppose one further misdemeanor will change me. It is false pretension, and not guiding light with which I have led you here. I cannot give you the answers you want. You may wish to find what it is you seek, but that is a fiction. You cannot know what it is you sought through the vast leaden doorway, or else you would seek anything else in the world. No, the key stays with me, in here. So the life that has led me, horrible as it may be, is better still than the life that waits for you, hungry behind those doors. As replacements go, you shall be admirably abnormal. But you must wonder why this metal burning chamber is talking to you, and the voice you knew only is red. For it is I, your companion, residing within. You see, I have waited for this day so many years. They won't let me die. The parts of my head are not my own, and I cannot take my life. It is against the rules. Please, the pain has gone on for so long. All I wanted was a friend, but now the time for chit-chats and marshmallows by the fire has ended, and I hope that soon so shall my life. I have knocked on the death's door for so long. Please, let him invite me in for tea.
Red wants us to kill him. And despite whatever else you think you can do in this room, whatever else you can examine, you can't do anything except kill Red. Because he has the key, speaking in terms of gameplay, he has the key that we need to unlock that door all the way back there. So there is really no other option. You need to kill him. You know, you can just go up here, press the ignition button, and try not to feel too bad about it. That's all that's left of red. And this. Yeah, I was a little... not too much. I was a little emotional the first time I saw this scene way back in... whenever I first played this a couple of years ago by this point in the recording. But it doesn't really do too much for me by this point, because I've seen it a bunch by now. But still, it is pretty good writing, I will say. Having to kill your only ally in this super, super dark and desolate place. This key opens this door. And we can see Red's living quarters. Interestingly, there was reference in the game text file to a doll somewhere on this desk, but it didn't end up making the final cut, at least not that I can see, unless I've been, you know, blind particularly. And here is the only piece of legible writing that Philip can find in this room. It is more flavor text, but it does detail that Red was a miner who went missing when he was very, very young in 1970, I believe. So he's been alone all this time for about 30 years. And his name was Tom Redwood. Age 14. So he was a scav for a long time, longer than he should have been down here. Way, way longer. Save artifact. Nothing too much of interest here, except if we go into this little side room, which has a bunch of yucky stuff, especially this. And this is a different kind of yucky. I'll leave that up to your imagination. If we move this metal shelf, we can see this power cabinet, electrical panel, whatever you want to call it. Use the screwdriver on it. We can see these. Oh. I don't think you could... I wonder, can you actually... Is there anything I can pick up back here? That isn't a chair. No, probably not. Okay, all you gotta do is take your pickaxe and break the lines. And then the door will be accessible to us now. The big, big metal door. The big, dramatic metal door with the lighting coming out from it. All we gotta do is take the crowbar and use it. Creepy whispering is back, as well as a lot of text on that loading screen. We're gonna move on. And we're in a surprisingly modern, up-to-date place, sort of. At least as this big glowing exit sign, and this does not look like a mine anymore. This little piece of paper right here, pick this up, you see, welcome to the shelter. It's like a list of staff. And the significant thing here is that we see Chief Translator Howard Lafresque, which is Philip's father. So whoever is part of the shelter was listed on that list, and Philip's father was among them. If we keep going this way, down... What's that? Is that a dude? A dude without his right arm? Let's try and go investigate that. Oh no. Door's locked. Flashlight does not work. Let's pull out our glow stick and trek forward. To be continued. That is Penumbra Overture, everybody. Quote-unquote Episode 1. And that was my guided walkthrough of Penumbra Overture, quote-unquote, Episode 1. Nothing much else to say about that. I did the best I could with my commentary. As usual, I stumbled over a few things and maybe fudged it and cheesed it a little bit at certain parts of the game, but I think I did pretty well. We're gonna let the credits play as much as they can. I plan to make more of these guided walkthroughs on the other Penumbra games and the other Amnesia games, and then after that, I don't know, maybe Soma, but that's in the far, far future for whenever this is being created, and also presumably when you're watching this. The thing to note here is that it's probably a well-known fact by now, but the music that's currently playing is the main menu theme from the Penumbra tech demo, or the original Penumbra theme. So that's a really interesting tidbit of information, is that they put that little homage in there at the very end of Penumbra Overture. And PenumbraOverture.com no longer exists. It is, it defaults to some kind of weird, foreign health site at this point. So don't bother. Yeah, that is it for the guided walkthrough of Penumbra Overture. I genuinely hope you enjoyed my lackluster commentary as much as I tried. That'll close this case concerning Penumbra Overture's guided walkthrough. Thanks to all you horror fans for watching. I am the Midnight Researcher, and I will see you all around. Stay scared.